Welcome to Not Us, a podcast hosted by two sisters, myself, Angela, and my gorgeous sister, Sam, where we talk about change, choices, and celebrate all the messy bits in between.
We're not licensed doctors, therapists, gurus, or witches. The stories and opinions expressed in this episode are our own, for entertainment only, and subjected to change. Swearing is possible, and remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Yay, and welcome to our first two Not Us guests. I'm so excited. We have other women with us on the call, Sam. Not that I'm bored with you or anything like that. That would never happen. But welcome, Petra and Chloe. It's awesome to have you here with us. Sam, do you want to talk about what we're going to be talking about before I introduce Petra and Chloe?
Today we are talking about dating in 2025, dating after long-term relationships, dating in your 20s and 30s, dating in your 40s and 50s. And we can't go beyond that because Angela's still in her 50s. But when she gets to her 60s, we'll revisit this particular episode. And welcome to Petra and Chloe, who are here to provide us with insights in terms of how they are navigating dating in 2025.
In fact, this episode came out of a conversation that I'd had with Chloe. Chloe is the owner of Radiance Beauty and Tanning Salon, and she is responsible for my glorious lashes. But, you know, if you think that you share stuff with your hairdresser, keep in mind, when you're in a hairdressing salon, there's generally chairs around you. And so you'll talk, but you'll only go so far. If you go to Chloe, for those of you who need a therapist and great lashes, you're sitting in a small room with a closed door. She's just above you here, and you're just lying there, and you can just talk your heart out. So people share everything with her, including dating and all of those things that are coming up. And in that conversation, we were talking about dating after long-term relationships and all of the fears and the panic and the body shaming. So I called my sister as soon as my session was done and said, we need to have this conversation. And then, of course, who better to pull in than the pie to my pudding, my best friend Petra, partly because I have had a couple of glorious years of watching her attempts at dating, which have been sad to say the very least.
Petra, I give you full permission. Just to play it back and remind her that at one stage you watched her dating efforts.
You know, but other than being a really tragic dater, she is a very successful human in every other way. So my darling Petra,
I love you.
she is a published author. In fact, I can see your book in the background there, Living on Purpose. She is the most outstanding keynote speaker, has won some really great awards in the last couple of years as a speaker. She's the founder of Just One Thing 365. And that's just a couple of things, philanthropist, et cetera, and more than anything, my bestie. I mean, how does it get better than that? So welcome to you both to have this amazing conversation with us. And we're super grateful to have you here with us.
Thanks for having us. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, can I kick off with a question?
Yes.
Let's define what dating is. What is dating? And how has it maybe changed in 2025? I mean, the last time in actual fact, I don't think I've ever dated. I've gone from relationship to hookup to relationship to where I find myself now, which is still married, but not in a relationship any longer and not ready to put myself out there. So what is dating and what does it look like in 2025?
I think like dating back in the day, like it used to be, you used to go out with gentlemen. So gentlemen, like you used to, like your first date, he would pay, he would open the door for you, like you see in films. Now when you go out, it's so hard to even get a conversation out of them before you even get out the front door. Like it's completely flipped on his head. It's like we've got to do the work to find the right man, whereas it used to be the men used to find us. And it's like completely the opposite now.
That's really interesting. That's actually a really good point. In terms of finding gentlemen and gentlemen who want to have a conversation, who are pursuing you, because that's the thing. We all love to be pursued, right? And it is interesting how women have become the I don't know
pursuer.
if it's pursuers or if it's coming from a little bit of desperation to find the knight in shining armor, or, you know, your warrior queen or whatever you're looking for.
Yeah. So true. It's like near impossible nowadays, I would say. It's not as easy as it used to be. Like when you go out for drinks, you used to meet people in bars, like people used to talk to everyone. It just doesn't happen now. Everything's all online. And for me, I would rather meet someone out in person and then get to know them first before talking through them on the phone, because at least you can actually have a conversation with someone, but it's just not the same.
Yeah, I would think a vibe check is important. And that's what you get when you meet someone in person, is that you get a sense of what their energy is like. Whereas on a device, there's no indication of whether our energies would do well together. And when you say back in the day, do you think this has changed
Oh,
post-COVID? Or
massively.
because my back in the day is like 18 years ago.
I would say before COVID, like even before then, like I think my generation, we invented online dating. So now we actually think that online dating is the way you're meant to find your loved one. Whereas actually
Yeah.
we grew up, we started going out, we started like finding your match way before even online dating even happened. And I think everyone's forgot about that and not,
Yeah.
and it's literally just going with online. And I think that's what a lot of people, a lot of girlfriends my age that are single say exactly the same. It's online dating's awful. It's just awful. And it's so soul destroying. And people that don't want to do it, it's then near impossible to find someone out on the street. Well, maybe not out on the street, but but yeah, it's really difficult. Really difficult.
What about you, Petra?
So I've never done online dating. I haven't got a clue what that is. So Chloe, absolutely. I think finding so many possibilities online to meeting someone, because I don't go out really. So unless I meet or bump into someone at Boots or the dog park where I walk my girls, my dogs, I don't really, or business events, I guess. But for me, I think so much has changed because, like Sam, dating for me was 15 years ago at least. And I think because I've changed so much and I've gone through so many experiences and so many lessons that previously it used to be a lot more effortless, when now I'm definitely on the back foot. So I think now when I do get invited to go out, it's either a combination of me either telling myself, convincing myself that this is just a fabulous potential business meeting or collaboration. So I've always got my business hat on, my entrepreneurial hat on, like, what is this going to co-create in business? And maybe that's just a bit of fear where I don't want to read too much into it. And then the other side is what I've noticed is I'm a lot more vigilant with energies. So whereas before I would maybe believe the words, now I completely trusting my gut and my vibe, which may be a little bit too much on this side of the pendulum, but so much has changed. Where before it was a lot more carefree and fun, where now maybe just because I don't have the patience, the time, the tolerance to entertain something that maybe just going to take me down the road that I don't want to go on. So yes, it can be fun and easy, and not every date needs to become something. If anything, it shouldn't. But even just the dating part, I've become so much more cautious, and I'd rather look at it as a potential business collaboration because that seems easier and less threatening.
Safer.
What about you, Mary Sunshine? I know that you're not dating now, but you had a couple of years and your pool was a little bit wider. Not only men, but potentially women as well.
So I have been married to a man. I have been married to a woman. And then I was like, okay, those two didn't work out as in the happily ever after that I thought they were going to be. So maybe I should just try something in between. In fact, I was just open to anything. And well, actually not. For 9 years, I was not open to anything. So I had a very long, big fat patch before I allowed anyone to come near my walls and barriers. And then I ended up meeting my current partner, Nathan. And that was a friendship that started, and we were friends for quite a long time. And then it developed into a great love. And then only once we'd fallen in love did we even become physical. So it was completely the different way around to how I've ever dated before. And so now we are a little way into our relationship. Petra was there watching me panic and cry and be afraid of opening my heart up again to someone or being hurt. Every time it became just a little bit more serious and we were living in different places, I would go into a meltdown and need to have my bars run because
Often.
crying because I was afraid. And then let alone when you actually get to meet them. And I'd been with women before that. So then all the panic, oh my gosh, do I even know how to be intimate with a man? It's been a long time. Are my bits all still looking good? You know, all of the panic that you have. And yeah, especially because I was doing that in my 50s. And the last time I dated was in my early 40s. But I somehow had done enough work on myself. It took me 9 years. It doesn't need to take anyone that long. But my situation was complex. But it gave me a good, long, grounded time to relearn who I was and to know what I really desired out of a relationship and then to create that in my life. So I'm very happy that I'm past that real big fear factor now. But yes,
I think one of the gifts of being in a long-term relationship or having many relationships, whether long-term is 17 and a half years or if it's 6 months, whatever that might look like for you, is that you learn about yourself, but you do come out on the other side maybe slightly damaged. And I say damaged, like damaged, but you definitely come out on the other side wiser. And I think that would definitely be our experience. But then maybe coming back to you, Chloe, what is your dating history?
I've had long-term relationships. I think they were all very different. I learned a lot about myself from each individual one. I mean, from my first boyfriend, I didn't start dating again for about 7 years before I met my next partner. I was just really, really hurt. And it just took me a long time to get back in the game, basically. And then in between, I've always tried dating. I've been set up on dates. I've done online dating numerous amount of times. I always go, I'm never doing it again. And then I just have to do it because you can't not meet people out. So I get stuck in like this loophole of online dating and then no dating for months and then dating again. I've tried speed dating. That was an experience. Woo! I've never been on that many dates in such a short period of time. And they were lovely. But the first person that sat down in front of me, he said to me, he was like, oh, what do you do for a living? I was like, oh, I do lashes, I do beauty, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, what do you do? And he was like, oh, I sell pictures of my feet on OnlyFans. And in my head, I'm thinking, what am I doing speed dating? It was just getting worse and worse. By the last guy, I was like, I'm really sorry. I'd love to have a conversation with you, but I need to go to the toilet. So I got up and waited until he rang that bell again because I could not do that last day.
Oh my God.
Out of Angela and myself, I think Angela would handle that quite well in terms of he's a foot model.
Well, I always say that you should have been a foot model, Sam. I've said to her numerous times, get yourself an OnlyFans page with those pretty feet of yours. Maybe you should go. You could meet up with him. You could like do it.
Do you know what? He was actually a very good looking lad. He just didn't really, I'm very good at spotting red flags or icks. Like I'd search for them in men. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, nope, no more. Thank you.
I don't know that I could do speed dating. I think I'd be exhausted.
I was actually
just like
engaging with different mentally. People. Yeah, it was awful. But lots of porn star martinis because they're free while you're speed dating, so it's great.
Well, I mean, now that you've said that, I might be able to do speed dating, and I would probably be very charming by the 8th martini.
You would be extremely. Petra, have you?
Yes.
I mean, I'm asking this question, but I think I know the answer. Have you ever gone to a speed dating thing? I'm not talking about quickly revisiting all your exes that you've ever been with, like not that kind of speed dating.
Sneaky. That little
judgment-free zone, Angela. Judgment-free.
cheeky. I'm not, there's no judgment. It's an observation. But that's,
Oh, we've all done it. It's a comfort blanket.
Right? No, look, there was a spate, it was crazy, where every time I went out, so I've got a group of single girlfriends here in South Africa, and once in a while we go out, and they're all pretty much keen to be in a relationship. So they go on the speed dating, all those singles events. I cannot think of anything worse. But what started happening is every single time we'd go out, whether it was a concert or a festival or dinner, where there were a few people, and not even actually always, like just a restaurant. I don't know what the universe was trying to tell me or do, but every single time without fail, I'd bump into an ex. Every single time. So whether it was an ex for like just a short little situationship or an ex in a relationship, it became the biggest joke where the girls started teasing me if we'd go out, like, P, you haven't bumped into an ex yet. I'm like, the night. I don't know what. So when Ange says that, it's completely true. For me, I think single dating is the pressure of walking into a room and it's so obvious to say, I'm single, come speak to me. And you just get all these eyes looking at you and zoning in, almost like, I feel like prey, almost like a deer that's just being looked at by a bunch of hyenas. I mean, kind of tells you where I am with that kind of vibe. But it terrifies me. So for me, it's always been more organic, either bumping into someone through someone that I know or bumping into strangers and then just striking a conversation. And yeah, that's kind of what happens. So,
I'm sure a lot of that is about putting out there just it's self-protection and that familiarity. Like you've been with someone, you know them, you know those basic things and keeping it in your community. But certainly P, after being married for a long time and before and then after, like you come out so different. And you're already so hurt and all of those emotions that you're feeling. It's how do you choose like someone that you don't know at all, like just complete random stranger? It's frightening.
I think for me, it's exactly as you say, going from a relationship where you trust someone with your life, you're so comfortable with them, you're choosing to see the good and not looking at potential red flags or warning signs, or at least for me, I'll speak for myself, being loyal to a fault and listening to the words and the promises versus the actions. And going from that, from someone that you trust so much to someone that you don't know, and thinking, if I couldn't trust the person that I entrusted with my life, how am I going to trust a complete stranger? So it's definitely brought something up that's very different that I never used to consider before being married. It's not something that would really cross my mind as much, but now it's definitely, I think it's that scar tissue that's there that kind of you're always feeling. So as soon as you're stepping or about to step into something, it's like, oh, let's just take a step back and pause. So absolutely, it's part of that self-preservation of rather someone safe that I know their history. Yeah. It's the familiarity in what's comfortable, what's known.
I think, and to what Chloe said, post-COVID, and we touched a bit on this in our adult friendship or making friends as adults. In the past, we had a number of community outlets where we could meet people. So whether that was at work, most of us work either hybrid or in very singular environments. So you would meet people at work, you would meet people at temple or whatever your religious standing is. And then you would meet people socially, whatever that might look like. So whether that was community, sports, clubbing, bars, whatever. And the world has changed. So we don't meet, for a lot of us, we're not meeting people at work. We don't have a religious or a temple or a community outlet, or it's less so. And then as you age or once you leave school, maybe you're not as involved in sporting activities or any kind of social, whatever, where you can meet people. And so we're forced to kind of look at alternatives, and whether that is online dating, speed dating, but it doesn't feel natural because that's not how we let our guards down. I'm not the kind of person that you're going to catch at a bar. If you approach me at a bar, just not my vibe. I'm here with people. Please don't approach me. In actual fact, you need to be introduced to me. And that's probably my way of safeguarding myself. Has someone else vetted you? Because I don't want to go through the challenge of vetting you. And I think some of that comes down to maybe me not trusting my own intuition in terms of, can I spot red flags? So like Chloe said, she looks for them. She actively looks for them. And maybe that's not a bad thing. I'm on the other side, have kind of been a little, well, one, I'm guarded. And then two, I believe that everyone who's been introduced and has been vetted must be a good person. And that's not necessarily a truth. And I don't mean good as in good and bad, but good for me. Must be a good person for me, right? A good vibe and a good connection. So I think that's part of the challenge, is that the world has changed. But what we're seeking out has not changed. It's the most basic thing, and that is to find someone that you can journey through this thing called life, whether that is the one and only or it's one of many. And I think because we have so much more option now, whereas in the past you got married and that's where you would stay until you died, that's not our reality.
Reason, season, lifetime.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's that. But I mean, also, as you say, sis, in terms of changing, like if I think of you, looking back at your dating, I must tell you, my sister was like, when we used to go to the girly clubs, her confidence, she would just strut in there. Like there was this club called, what is it? Friday. First Friday. All the girls. That was when I was just starting to venture into the territory of dating girls. But I remember the one night, there was this group of really hot girls. They were like the hottest girls in the club. And this one came up to my sister because, we present as straight essentially. Or that's the cliche thought, feminine girls. And Sam being in the club and this girl coming up and saying, so are you gay, or are you just here to tease us? Because Sam would just be like in her own world, looking as hot as anything. And these girls would buzz around her. But then, of course, she'd been with her partner then for 17 years. I'm wondering, like now, what it would look like if you went into a club. Not that, not in terms of being hot or not, because you're still hot, but it's a confidence thing, right? When you're going into that arena, you've got nothing to lose. When you, like 20 years ago, there's nothing to lose. I'm here and take me, leave me. I don't really care. 20 years later, you suddenly, is it different? The approach, is it more serious, or is it, I'm just going to have fun? I'm here for fun.
Who are you asking? If you're asking me, I'm like, for fuck's sakes, I'm so like not ready. I need to find Stella needs to find her groove. Like I need to find my confidence. But it is different. Like I think a lot of that confidence was also because there was a lot of option available to me. I was playing football, and so there were a lot of gay girls in the football scene, and I was the more feminine of the girls. And so,
right for the picking.
It was popular. And then I was clubbing at gay clubs. I mean, I didn't have a problem when I was at the straight clubs. The boys loved to touch my ass, and that used to fucking annoy me. But I think when you have options, you can be confident. Now, and it's funny because in my head, I'll look at my own age group and I'll go, I don't want to date someone old. But that's those are my peers, because in your head, the last time you were dating was in your 20s. And so you still think that you're in your 20s, but you're not. And so the world doesn't see you as that hot 20-something-year-old. The world sees you as, now guarded 48-year-old who that same vibe might just be a little bit like shoot your shots, see how badly you burn. Now it's like shoot your shots, you're going to ricochet off the
cold exterior,
the walls, granite wall around me. Do not even speak. I could not even think about going onto a dating app. My profile would say, keep swiping. Don't bother. Keep swiping.
Move along. Just move along, people. But Chloe, I want to, if I can, hop to you, because Sam and I were talking about this last night, actually. And yes, for the three of us, there is a bit of pressure. You're hitting perimenopause, menopause. There's a whole another world of, as Sam was saying, kind of your own age group. I'm all for dating younger if you want girls, just so you know, it's absolutely fine.
I just want to
But
say it's in our blood.
it's in our blood. That's right.
Yeah.
We can't help ourselves. I don't know what Petra's excuse is. I mean, we share bloodline, but Petra's, acceptable to be a cougar.
Sisters in other lifetimes. It's all
That's
good.
right.
It's the company you keep, Petra. So we all blame Angela.
The wise one.
That's just straight.
But Chloe, as you go into your 30s now, that's the time where there's so much pressure on having to find your husband, because I mean, a lot of your friends are probably doing that. It's the time when you traditionally are having babies, and you've been super successful in business. You've built this great business. How do you, from being really business focused, do you change your focus, or what does it feel like to you now going into your 30s, and what kind of pressures are there for you?
I think for me, the main pressure is we've got a time frame. If you want to have kids, you have women are under pressure where you got to have kids by a certain age, or else it starts complicating things. And I already have trouble in that department. So I've always been told by my gynecologist, I should have done it when I was like 26, 27. But I believe in tradition. So I believe you've got to find someone, get married, and then the babies and everything else rolls on next. I mean, I've completely flipped it, and I focused all in my 20s on doing my business and having fun and just getting to where I am today. And now I'm like turning 30 in a couple of months. Everyone's like, oh, you better hurry up, Chloe. Your eggs are going to be dust soon. You've got to get this going. And I'm like, well, I can't even find the one, let alone someone that I'm going to share my eggs with. Like, it's real pressure. And all my friends, they've all got babies and they've got mortgages and they're getting married. And I'm just here like, okay, well, are you guys going to help me out now? But they're not in the same stage of life as I am. And I think it's really hard.
And Chloe, the approach that you had, which is to find your business, build out your career, that's what we have been taught to do. And I think more so with the younger generation, because we are imparting with younger women that you need to be independent. Don't be dependent on a man, or don't be dependent on anyone else for your successes in life. And it takes a lot of time and effort to build a business and to build a career. And so it's a double-edged sword, because we are saying to women and young girls, that's what you need to do to be independent and to safeguard your future. But in the same breath, what happens is that you're missing out on a lot of natural desire and need, because you then also do remember, or there is this ticking clock in the back of your head saying, well, you need to have all of this by a certain age. And what I notice is that there are a lot of women under the age of 35 that feel that they have to have all of this sorted out by the age of 35. I got married at 37, but at 37, I still didn't know necessarily what I wanted out of life. And so I think it's such a huge pressure that you have to have everything figured out by the time you're 28, because after 28, your fertility starts to decline, and it depends on each individual. But our fertility, that's pretty much the average, starts to decline and starts to slow down over at the age of 28. But for most of us, that's 10 years after leaving school. If you've gone to varsity or you started a career and stuff, this doesn't give you much time to find like the one, and whether that's the one for right now or the one that you want to have children with, or whatever that might look like. We all go into relationships hoping that it's going to be the one that lasts and it's going to be this amazing love story. But my advice would be, if you want to have children, find someone that you can actually have a good relationship with or friendship with if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really important. If you are going to be bringing up kids and stuff, I think it's actually better to find a friend that you can have a really good relationship with and then decide to have children. But we still believe in the picket fence and 2.5 kids and the happy ever after.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree with you. I mean, my sister, we're 18 months apart and we're very close, and she's been in her relationship for 7 years now, and I feel like I'm like the child they never wanted. I spend a lot of time with them, but like, just to see how them two have grown together and how they're more best friends than anything, it's something that I look at and I'm like, I want that. I would love that. I would love to go to a party or a family event and not be the third wheel with them two, but come in with someone who's proud of me and that we can enjoy life together with, and then go on from there with. But it's hard.
And I think that's what we all want. Petra?
Absolutely. I must say, Ange, you and Nathan have given me another level of hope that it's still possible, because exactly.
I cry every time I spend the weekend with them, because it's just too sweet. It's like wonderful and it's great, and it's like, fuck, what?
I think it's divine. I mean, the way that they have fun and play. I mean, you guys really, you play, you have fun, you prioritize that. And I was with you when you were going through the separation and the divorce before, and then when you started eventually spending more time with Nathan and dating. So I saw that, I think seeing that and experiencing that with you, and then going through what I was going through, it's definitely given me hope that, okay, maybe there are still some men out there that could be compatible. So I don't want to say good men, because we've all got our stuff, but rather men that match my energy, because you found your match. So that's really given me a glimmer of hope that it is possible. So thanks. That's been encouraging.
Be
Because
honest,
also
Petra. You don't want a good man. You want a cowboy, a dirty cowboy.
there's so many places we can go into that. Look, and for us, there's certain things I won't repeat. Yeah, no, there's things that I won't repeat, and then there are the non-negotiables now. But it is definitely, the expectation is different, because, like we were saying there, is, and like Chloe, like there is no clock anymore. I'm not worrying about that. I don't have to stress about wanting kids. So I think for me, it's more the likelihood of meeting someone that has kids and an ex-wife that's maybe involved with the kids. Like that's the new scenario, the new reality, maybe. There's a lot of men that I know that aren't interested in having kids, don't have kids. But that's a lot smaller. So there's so many different elements. There's so much to look forward to, Chloe.
I think we're both sort of on the same page as well. We both know what we want, what we deserve. We know how we've been treated before, like in past relationships, how bad it was. Then actually what we do want to go for, it's just finding that right person. It's like a needle in a haystack, really. Like it's having that connection with someone, and like you said earlier, Sam, the energy and everything else. It's, what does my nan always say? You've got to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince.
Yes.
And I think you do it a whole way through your life. Some people are very lucky, they find their prince very early on. Others, they are kissing a lot of frogs. So I think it's just a roller coaster.
Chloe, I call that community service, kissing a lot of that would sum up my dating, my life. Community service, best be fueled by tequila.
This is why she doesn't go out to bars with herself, because she'll be leaving having kissed someone.
Yeah,
Traded her phone number out.
There was a time where I could not, in relationship or out, and I'm not someone who cheats on their partner or anything. I'm quite faithful. I'm a one-person person. But I get panicked if there's pressure when people ask me for my phone number. So I'd be like, on every flight, someone would sit next to me and ask me for my number. And then instead of giving them a fake number, because I'm scared that they would phone me, I'd just give them my number. Get back. My partner would be like, who did you give your number to this time? I'd be like, I can't help it. I felt so bad. It's community service, you know.
When I used to go clubbing, like back in the day, if a guy asked me his number and I didn't fancy him, I used to give him my mum's number. So my mum would get all these calls like, hi Chloe, it's really nice to see you on Saturday. My mum would be like, oh. Because it's the only other number I knew in my head to give to someone.
Don't give them ideas, because they'll both be giving strangers my number to answer for them.
Our mother. I won't even give them my real name. So I don't like you. I'm Sarah. Because it's at least supposed to say, I'm Sarah.
Look, at least giving Ange my number, I think would be great, because she can vet them ahead of time. Her and Nathan can vet them. So then at least if they get approved, then I know that I'm probably safe.
Yeah, because the problem is in keeping her on track, because she still sneakily goes on dates without telling me when I haven't finished vetting them yet, or at least warning them.
And I'm glad that you want her to vet. I mean, she's has quite a history of poor choices herself.
Not that many.
Truth be told, all done well. We've done well. We've chosen well and not so well.
We can always see it in other people. But, on a slightly more serious note, there is that saying that says, better to have loved and been hurt than not loved at all. I want to say, fuck that shit. You clearly have not been hurt properly, because I'm like, if you've truly had your heart ripped out of its cage, I mean, yes, obviously it's wonderful to have every life experience and to be loved and truly loved and have your nervous system be able to just relax with someone. It is the greatest gift that you can experience. But being really, really hurt can change the trajectory of how you approach anyone else in life significantly. And I wonder if either of you have experienced that kind of pain, and because you've both been brave enough to step out a little bit more and open yourselves up, and how you are doing that. Whoever
So
wants
that's why
to.
the question's me.
The Leo who just doesn't.
Just keep swiping.
I suppose my last relationship was, I believe that he was like my forever. He was a bit younger than me. We just got on from the outset. Like, it was just easy. We both slotted into each other's lives because I work very long hours. So I always struggled to even get home on a suitable time. We had the same banter. We enjoyed the same things. It just worked. And then there was always like this little something in the back of my mind that used to say to me, Chloe, this isn't right. Like, you're actually sort of mothering him a little bit. He unfortunately had an operation and he was struggling. And then I sort of felt like I had to almost care for him and look after him. So I was blinded more than lust than love. So I was getting to a point in my life where I was like, well, if this doesn't go right now, I'm going to end up on my own. So I was fighting for something that actually wasn't even there. And he just woke up one morning and told me that he didn't want to be with me anymore, and just left, like out of the blue, really randomly. Still to this very day, I don't understand why he did what he did. But I look back on the relationship and I'm like, what was I doing? Like, I wasn't his mother. He actually mentally probably wasn't ready for a relationship and to be in a serious adult relationship. And I was trying to kid myself that maybe it wasn't. And I think I lost a lot of myself in that relationship. I lost me. I lost my confidence. I lost just everything about me because I put everything into one person and completely forgot about myself. And it took me a good 2 years before I started dating again to get that confidence back in myself. And it's a massive knock. I think every person after a really bad relationship needs that gap to sort of find themselves again, and to feel good in yourself is the main thing out of everything. And then you can start getting back on your journey again, rather than just jumping straight back into it.
Trusting yourself. Yeah, because it's interesting, you said there was the small voice, and I think that's the thing. We numb that because we want the dream so badly. So we actually numb our incredible intuition as women. And I'd done some work in healing my own life, where I stopped listening to my mind and started really learning from my body and what my nervous system was saying when I was around someone, or if they were telling me the truth or not. And my body, it is quite loud. It speaks loudly to me. So if someone is lying to me, I literally get tummy runs. I actually have to run to the bathroom right away. But my body immediately says, this is bullshit. And so instead of covering it up and like wanting to think, oh, no, or second guessing myself, I just really listen to my body. And what I'm hearing from you is that you knew, like your body was telling you all of those things. So I wonder, as you go into the next adventure with someone, what do you think that you'll listen to the most in your own body?
100%, that little voice. And if I'm not feeling it then and there, then don't force anything. I have this dream, like, and what I want and or who I want. And if it's not following in, I don't need to force it. If it's not that, then don't force it. Listen to your gut, your heart, my little voice. And then I think then that will bring me to the person that I want. You got to be fussy. And I think you got to follow what you want personally.
Yeah. And thank you, Chloe, for sharing that. And Petra, how about for you? I won't contribute because I know the journey, so I'll let you share what you want to share.
Thank you. So much of what Chloe's saying, I can echo, where I didn't realize how much of myself I'd given up. You know, part of my pattern was rescuing, which I guess ties in with the work I do as a life alignment coach, because it's that empathy. So it makes me good at my job. But the challenge was that I believed the potential. I believed the person that he said he wanted to become. So I was listening to the words and also not trusting my intuition. And there were so many things manifesting in my body because I didn't want to believe it, because I was like, but he says he wants to do this. So I ended up for so many years stepping into my masculine to making things happen, which was exhausting me because, you know, I've always been feminine and I kind of lost that. And then also revolved my life around my previous partner to the point where it was just making sure that I could help him become who he said he wanted to become. So as long as I could support him in multiple ways, personally and professionally, it was all about, well, how can I help him step into who he says he is and wants to be? But that meant that I was dishonoring myself and my own relationship. So I wasn't contributing to the relationship like I could have either, because I wasn't being true to myself. So much of that. And it's just been, you know, doing a lot of the inner work and inner reflection and healing part, which has been so interesting, going on or meeting different men now beyond the exes that I have a familiar past and history with. But it's interesting because, you know, someone came along that I met out of the blue at a concert, and it was so bizarre because he didn't have a victim story at all, which was completely polar opposite to what I just come out of. So there was no victim story. He was truly masculine, not like a toxic masculinity trying to appear masculine. He just was. Completely caught me off guard. I didn't know what to do with myself. So this poor man, the interpretation that he probably has of me, I cringe just thinking, because I didn't know what to do with it. I was so confused because I wasn't used to that. So it's been interesting in looking at what I got used to, what I bought into, what I chose, and realizing that, you know, everywhere where I lost myself and chose someone else above me, which wasn't contributing. So it's been a roller coaster. And every time I think, okay, I'm ready now, universe, I'm ready, then something happens, and seeing the red flags, because now not everything's a red flag, but a lot more. So now I pay a lot more attention to what they're doing versus just what they're saying, because buying into all the promises, clearly I wasn't trusting my intuition. So it's been a lot more now. They might say that they do something or they're a certain way. So I observe a lot more. And sometimes I'll, air quotes, laugh it off just because I don't feel like the drama of getting into the conversation. But I get turned off very quickly now. So if someone is actually showing up in the way that they're saying they are, it's that pretense where, yes, we all want to put our best foot forward. But for me, it's the authenticity. Just be who you are, because then I can decide if you're the type of person and I'm the type of person that you want to be with, and vice versa. So that's been a big shift for me, is just watching and let them show me who they really are. And then I can be like, okay, great, or no, let's move on.
I love that, what both you and Chloe have said, because I think as women, we are geared to be nurturing, and that motherly instinct is within us. And little girls from very small are taught to nurture that nurturing motherly instinct, right? So when little girls are playing with dolls and being mummies, we are teaching them from young that you are a carer and a provider, etc. So it's very easy for a woman to take care of a grown man as a mother would. And we are taught that that's what good girls do. We override our basic needs and we provide what other people might need. And we are rewarded for that. And so it makes perfect sense that when you are in a relationship and your body is saying to you, this is not right, or you can see the red flags. And when you look back, you go, well, I knew that all along. Like I felt that. Why was I not listening to myself? We taught to override our intuition. And I like what you brought up about polarities, Petra, in terms of some women are very feminine and they want to be in that very feminine energy. And the polarity of that is to have a very masculine man. And when we speak about healthy masculinity, that's not about being macho. That's about protection and providing in all senses, right? So that you can really be in that feminine. But then there are women, and all four of us probably are more in the center, where whether that's our natural state or where we find ourselves, where we have to oscillate between our masculine and our feminine because we work, etc. So if you're an ultra feminine woman, you're going to be a trad wife. And I'm saying that as a blanket statement, but that's what you're going to be. You're going to be someone who's taken care of, and you're like in the house, and that's your space. You would need a man that wants someone to be like that, who's going to provide for someone to be like that. Because I think what we often forget is that often we will, even as women, we'll criticize other women and we'll go, she's such a bitch and she's got such a good man, or she's got such a good partner. And it's like, no, if she's a bitch, it's because she needs to be a bitch to keep him in check, or, keep the partner in check. A woman is only able to be her true self and tap into her true feminine when she's safe.
So,
and we don't put enough responsibility on our partners, and to do the same for our partners, in terms of saying, well, if you want me to show up more feminine and for you to lead, and that's the role of the masculine, is to be the leader and the initiator. That's what masculinity is. I mean, from the girl who doesn't have like much experience in terms of men. But
you get that
Instagram
in
is a
women as well.
great source of education. But if you want to be a leader, you've got to be a strong leader. I'm very comfortable in both my masculine and my feminine energy, but I'm not going to allow a clown to lead me. You have to be a stronger leader than I am, and I'm a strong fucking leader.
yeah.
I'm not dropping my standards to entertain your male ego. So you're going to have to rise up.
Yeah.
And so this is the challenge for us, is that we are going to kiss frogs that present themselves as knights in shining armor. But until you're comfortable in yourself and you go, yeah, not doing that. I've done that. I've invested in potential and I lost myself in it. Until you're willing to go, okay, this is not a problem. This is a superpower. Then when you do get an opportunity where you're being tested, and that's a great challenge, right? What do I do with a man who doesn't need me to be his mommy? That gives you an opportunity to like really lean into your own insecurities and go, oh, okay, could I be comfortable with this? And I've seen that change in Angela. And I hope you don't mind me saying this, Ange, in a lot of your relationships, you're a very feminine looking woman, but you were the masculine. You had to be the mommy. And you had to provide.
When you're a cougar as well.
And you were
They're
cougar.
young. They're young, so you mother them.
Yeah, right.
Don't mother anyone. You can only be a lover or a mother.
Exactly. And I've always said no one wants to F their mother. But it's the most natural thing for us to do. And I think part of your healing, Ange, has been stepping into that uncomfortable of whether or not you can allow someone else to lead you. And then finding the right person where you can go, okay, I'm going to give you opportunity to lead. And if you keep stepping up, I can allow more and more and more. I mean, I don't know if that was the situation with you in your current relationship, but as an outsider observing your past relationships, it does require a lot of bravery. And we do a lot of healing because we have to heal. And that's what women do. We first heal before we want to get into the next relationship. Our confidence needs to come back online and our intuition. But there's some things that you can only heal when you're in a relationship or when you are in relation with another person.
Yeah, that's true.
Finish
You
sometimes
can.
I inspire myself. Brilliant.
But I love that, Sam, because we do feel like sometimes that we need to heal ourselves completely before we can put ourselves out there. And there's some healing that can only happen in relationship. And that's why we draw these relationships anyway, is so that we can grow ourselves, we can grow together. So to find a partner who matches that energy, I think has been a big thing for me. I remember years ago, someone saying to me, oh, just make sure that whoever you get into a relationship with, they love you more than you love them. Because then if it doesn't work out, you're not the one that's brokenhearted. And I was like, oh my God, that's such a horrible thing, because I've been the one who's loved more, loved harder. And so that was my ask this time around. I want my partner and I to love each other the same. I want us to be equal partners, but then also still wanted to be in the divine masculine, divine feminine, whoever that showed up as in whatever their gender was, but just that role. And so, and that healing, that part of that healing can only happen when you finally actually are with that person. And then you can see how much all the theory and the healing that you've done aside, was worth. But I think as well, just it is a serious thing in a lot of ways, but it's trying to have as much fun as possible. Like as soon as you start letting dating become a very serious, very heavy thing, that's what you will attract. Like attracts like. So it's that fine balance between containing your own fear and your own panic and little bit opening yourself up. And when I spoke to my wonderful coach about this a few years ago, I was like, how do I ever trust again? And they were like, it'll just be repetition. The person will continue to show you each time they show you over and over again that they show up. That's when trust opens up. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Believe them. I know we're getting close to wrapping up time now. So I don't know if there's any more questions that you have, but I think one of the questions I want to ask Sam, Chloe, and Petra is the body stuff. So we're putting ourselves out there, we're doing all this internal work, but how do you prep your own body for the dating scene again? Like something that I did, and maybe this will just trigger some thoughts, was that I realized I wasn't nurturing myself in any way. I was wanting someone to come in and nurture me and love me and love my body and everything, but I wasn't doing that. So, I'd go and find the most beautiful, delicious body cream, and just the act of nurturing yourself, or like eating beautiful food, or taking yourself on a beautiful date. Those are some of the things that I was doing physically while I panicked that my boobs were maybe not as perky as they were, and my girly bits weren't maybe what they looked like in their 20s. What fears do you have, and what are you doing to try and nurture yourself so that you can attract more of that?
I think I mean, obviously I work in the industry, so I know a lot of women, like before they go on dates, they like to get their nails done, maybe a spray tan, go for a blow dry. Anything that makes you feel like confident in yourself brings out then your inner confidence anyway. I know a lot of clients that have, well, and friends as well, that have been in a long-term relationship and they go into dating, but they have the fanny fear. So like a fanny fear is something where you've been with one person for a very long time and you're now having to introduce your little fairy to a new pirate or another fairy or anything. You then start getting like the fear. So people might have a wax beforehand. The main thing is if you feel good in yourself and you're ready and then everything just kind of rolls off the crisp. So it's, I think, looking good, feeling good, but knowing that you look good and you feel good is the main thing.
Awesome.
That's
The
great.
fanny fear.
Fanny fear.
I think we
guys
all
used to
experience
get
the
to
kind of fear. Like it is just a completely normal thing.
So
Petra, have you
sure.
experienced the fanny fear?
I'm not going to go into that part of it, but what I will say is it's different now, because when I separated, I was 45. So absolutely, it's very different than dating and meeting people when you're in your 20s. and because of everything that's around us, right? And also, when the partner leaves you for someone that's a lot younger, then it's always, well, I'm just never going to be young enough. I'm over the threshold and I'm never going to be able to compete. So it becomes that we do ourselves a disservice by projecting onto poor men what we think that they're going to need and want, which puts a lot of pressure on not just us, but them as well. So for me, absolutely, to Chloe's point, is making myself feel as confident. So it's wearing the clothing that I feel confident in and the shoes and the accessories. I think it's also part of why I was open to going back to my past relationships, because they've known me anyway. So kind of like, well, you know who I am. You're not going to be as judgy as maybe, someone that I've never met before. So I think that's been part of it for me. And of course, it's a massive ego stroke when a man looks at you in a desirable way. I think that definitely helps, is finding a man that looks at you in that way, because then you kind of forget the insecurities. Because that was a massive insecurity I had, was, if the person that I loved and trusted didn't want me, is anyone else going to want me at this age? So it's definitely brought a whole other level of psychological challenges that I've needed to work through. And to your point, Ange, also where, you don't just heal in isolation, because when I met that said stranger that was truly masculine and not pretending to be anything else that he wasn't, all the parts that I thought I'd healed when he came along was just, oh my God, everything that came up that I didn't even know I hadn't healed. So it's definitely, I think for me, it's just checking in constantly. And do I feel comfortable and attractive to myself? Because if I can't look at myself in the mirror and think, good God, you're hot, then I'm not going to be able to step in with that natural way of being in another relationship. So it's doing all the aesthetics. Absolutely, that helps. And if I'm having a really bad day, it's putting my hair back really tightly in a ponytail, so I feel like I look younger in my reflection. It's like tight, so I get a headache by the time I get to dinner tight. But yeah, I think for me, it's the clothing, the accessories, and then just being with people that I feel comfortable with. I think as soon as I feel like I've got to try too hard to impress the person, that's where I'm listening to my body and like, okay, something's off. Something is off here, that I'm trying too hard. And maybe it's self-imposed, that maybe it's my own insecurities. But I think that if you are with someone that you don't feel like you need to try that hard to impress, then I feel safer. So as soon as I start going into that panic, straight away, I'm like, okay, what is my body trying to tell me beyond my own stuff?
Thank you, P, for sharing that. Yeah, that's great.
The famous words of RuPaul, if you can't love you, how can anyone else love you? So you've got to love yourself. And I think that's what all three of you are saying, is that it starts with self-love and really taking care of yourself so that you're not that desperate for external validation because you have internal validation.
Sis, on that, loving yourself, I'm going to just take it just before we close to another area, is self-love also means knowing your own body. So you need to, other than just nurturing yourself, you got to get in and know your own body, girls, because if you don't know what you like and how it all works, that's not going to be helpful for you. You can't expect a lover to know you if you don't know yourself.
What are you talking about? I think you need to be specific. What's your words of wisdom here?
Do I need to tell you about the time I took Petra to a sex shop for the first time?
I knew this was going.
I used to take all my girlfriends. When I was vetting them, Petra, I would take them to the sex shop.
Oh, good God. No, this is when
maybe that's what Angela was doing. She was vetting you.
No, I was still married, which was interesting. I was still in relationship when you did that.
She was. And she nearly had a heart failure. She thought she was going into a health shop, which it was, but at the back there was a sex shop. So, I would advise, if you've been single for a while, find yourself some toys and learn to pleasure yourself, because if you can't pleasure yourself, how do you expect anyone else to pleasure you? Give me an amen, girls, if you agree with me. Amen. And then also on that, and Sis and Petra, we will do a whole episode on this, but dating when you're hitting perimenopause or menopause, and there are parts of your body that are drier and you need some help in terms of how you negotiate all of that, then that's something we should talk about, as well as for the gay girls on here and those who have not been with a man for a very long time and who maybe, whether you're with a man or not, or your girlfriend likes to use sex toys, if there's been no action below, you can't just suddenly be putting things in your body. So just remember, you've got to look after the outside, but you also need a prep. What did you call it? What did you call it, Chloe? The vaginal region? The fairy. What for the pirate fairy?
But prep the fairy.
Prep the fairy, internally and externally. There was this great episode, sis, we used to watch. What was the girly episode that had Shane in? The girly series?
The L Word.
The L Word.
Kate
It
Manning.
was big when I first started dating girls. The L Word. But at the end of one of the episodes, they had a whole episode just ending on words that we call our vaginas, the names, pet names that you give your vagina. There was
Lady
a mermaid
Garden.
purse, Lady Garden.
Oh, jeez, I've never heard of a mermaid purse.
As Chloe mentioned,
Pirates, that's a man. So my mum always used to say, girls are fairies, boys are pirates.
Oh, there you
Say
go.
pirates have swords.
Yeah.
Ah.
And they never know what they're doing with it anyway.
And most pirates have one eye, like only have one eye finding their way. They've got a patch.
And you wonder why we're all traumatized going into
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, thank you very much for that, Dr. Ruth. Enlightening. Maybe to wrap up this episode, I'm going to describe 3 dating seasons. I want you to tell me if you know what they are and if you would participate in them. And Angela, you can participate as well. So have you ever heard of cuffing season?
I have. Isn't this where you get into winter and you start wanting to have like a winter buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the period when people seek out short-term committed relationships to last through the fall and winter. Would you do it, or is it a hard no?
Hilarious.
I'm cuffed.
mean-
I'm already cuffed for winter, so I'm good.
I've got a football ball, so I'll be all right.
We're going into summer, so it doesn't apply.
I would say it's a hard no for me. Have you heard of sledging?
Oh, good grief, no.
No.
Sledging is the term for breaking up with someone just before the holidays, often because you don't want to spend the holidays with them or introduce them to your family.
Oh, that's
Or buy them
harsh.
Christmas presents.
Yeah.
And apparently it happens before summer as well, because, like summer is
Sure.
normally when people have
Fun.
hookups. After cuffing is the breakup season, a term for the time after December and January when many relationships end as people reassess their lives and the temporary nature of the relationships become clear.
Wow. So when the single circle expands.
Yeah. Make it bigger.
So that's when we need to go out. January is the time we should be going
No.
out.
Now that's when you need to be going out.
Oh, no. We've got a few more months to do the healing work, and then we're out there. Chloe.
So you use December to get yourself confident, body aware, because come January, it's when you should be at the bars.
I mean, my December and my last December is very different.
Well, ladies, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for sharing some thoughts and opinions with us. This was a great session. We hope that you had fun.
So
Thanks
much
for
fun.
having us. So much
Thank
fun.
you. Learned so much.
Agree.
I was 3 years old then.
So what we traditionally do when we close a session is we grab a bit of tequila and we cheers on the session. We've got our glasses ready. I think we asked you to bring your glasses. Petra, that looks like a hell of a glass of tequila, but day drinking, it's up to you.
It's straight up.
I didn't have a
Cheers.
shot
Cheers,
glass,
ladies.
sorry.
Yes, to meet your
Cheers.
beautiful matches, and thanks for being with us. Oh,
Right. Well, Angela does her ugly face. Thanks for listening. You can email us with comments or feedback at notuspod@gmail.com. Remember to like us on Instagram or Facebook and to catch us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Petra and Chloe, and see you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.